Good evening, Board, Mr. Solicitor, Management. First, I'd like to commend you on, to paraphrase our Superintendent, a reflective dialogue tonight on the issues, which was totally absent from the vote that occurred on the 10th. So I do want to commend you and appreciate the fact that you are able to engage and exchange ideas on issues of import. I have read, heard, listened to different accounts of what the CD School District purports to be doing with the transportation contract with Durham. I would remind you there still has been no public discussion or public deliberation by this board on the matter unless you count a lopsided newsletter I received last week, underwritten by taxpayers. I would be frank, there were some weak and brief softballs thrown out on August 10th. Very weak, very soft. And I do appreciate Mr. Thompson's call for a more deliberative process. I would also note that there was a much more engaged process tonight on a basis swap than there was on a bus swap that was going to haul our children. But apparently the train is not out of the station. The contract is not signed. And even if the Durham engine were in gear, a portion of the caboose hauling 3 board members never left the station. And frankly, it doesn't matter why you weren't here tonight. I want to give you board members an opportunity to discuss that. It's difficult for me, as someone who works on the Capitol Hill, to conjure a scenario that would justify this decision-making process. Again, no public input hearings, no public discussion between board members on the issue prior to the vote. Frankly, there's more sunlight in Indian Echo Caverns during a mud storm. The vote had all the earmarks of a choreographed tragedy. Closed-door meetings, an open-ended contract, a 5-year term with moving targets, limited financial analysis, a shell game with meeting dates, a hurried and covert decisions to subsidize poor planning. And I'm saying this as a businessman who just met with my board today for 5 hours. 5 hours to vet issues of similar import. No one has ever taken issue with the safety record produced by the Central Dauphin Bus Drivers Association. I find that significant. Nobody has ever taken issue with the record produced by these bus drivers, which should be paramount for all of us. But I just want to break down the vote for a second and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm more than happy to be corrected when I'm wrong, when that happens on an infrequent basis. I believe 3 of the people that voted, Mrs. Stone, Mr. Sallusti, and Mr. Troxel, will be leaving in 2009. I think that's correct, which would mean 60% of the people that voted to outsource, as we would say on the Hill, were lame duck legislators. Also correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Region 2 is composed of Mr. Brem, Ms. Lieber, and Mr. McShane. Is that correct? I'm looking, if that is correct, then I would note that Region 2 did not support the outsourcing. Only Mr. Brem voted for it. Ms. Lieber and Mr. McShane were absent. So Region 2 did not support outsourcing. Region 3, which I believe is composed of Ms. Stone, Mr. Malasik, and Mr. Thompson, didn't support outsourcing either. Ms. Stone voted yes, Mr. Malasik was absent, and Mr. Thompson voted no. So my question tonight, does the outsourcing vote to Durham only apply to Region 1?
30 seconds.
Thank you. There is no time to be neutral when the freight train is rolling down the hill with our children on board. As we say, everybody has to man up. And tonight, Region 2, Region 3, I want to give you the opportunity to express what you would have done. Ms. Lieber, Mr. Malasik, Mr. McShane, had you been here, you have the opportunity tonight to declare whether or not you support or oppose or need more time to consider the contract with Durham School Services. Again, this isn't about whether or not you were here or weren't here. Final comment. Folks, real simple. Real simple. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yes.